for our first match of the day, week number 1, day number 2. It's time for Alter Ego and RRQ with both of their lineups. Dive versus a mix with split front to back and even some sort of dive for themselves. We'll see how this plays out as we enter the land of Dawn for game number 1.
Yeah, Hilda is actually going for non-aggressive approach so far. He's actually checking for any kind of threats for Kids. A pretty standard early game so far. Albert's is taking the glue off as well.
Well, Kids has shown to be a very dangerous assassin player, but he requires a lot of setup. He requires the team to be doing well for him to really show his potential. And on cue right here, Rossi is really being a huge problem, but Vin spots him out. And on the other side, the level 2 roam being done by Clay right here. Pi is the main target.
Oh, good sidesteps by Pi. Even the Petrify here, maybe a little bit of a miscalculation as he tried to get level 2 to outplay it, but it's just first blood over to the side of RRQ. Albert here trying to claim the orange buff, gets it, but Rossi dishes out a bit more damage onto Vin. Still in the midst here, 2v1, winning it out for a bit, but Albert with the orange buff, the clock is ticking. Rossi still able to find that kill, gets the shield back up as well, and he pops the sprint in time. RRQ losing the roamer, but it's still a better trade over for RRQ in the end because of Pi falling early.
Yeah, definitely. This is kind of quite an amateur mistake for a pro player, but when you have a Pharsa in level 2 in the mid lane, you expect them to come either to gold lane or XP lane. It doesn't matter if you're tanky or not, if you have any kind of survivability skill or not, that Pharsa is going to pursue you down real quick. But Skylar just trying to get all the minions, but denied by Rizal.
Ooh, Kiss trying to do aggressive maneuvers here. But on that note, Shevin, that makes sense, right? The difficult part right here is because Alter Ego, both lanes can actually be ganked by that Pharsa, so RRQ is kept guessing on their toes where exactly is Clay going to be. And now he is once again just setting up for this very sneaky play. He has a Purify though, so he cannot be that dynamic. But look at Rizal biting on that bait. He's gonna get stunned up here.
That's the experience, that's the experience talking about it. Kids comes back in top side, able to pick 1 kill back up onto the gold laner of RRQ. Even Skylar popping that Purify. Here, RRQ trying to help Albert go for the invade as Albert's going to be able to dash out there with the Abrasion's Wrath as well, but Kid's going to be able to come down with the Retribution by himself with the high and dry, picks up a kill onto Albert. As now it's Pi who comes back into the mid lane wanting revenge, but Vin will still be able to flicker out to safety. Meanwhile, Rossi is hunting for a bird, gets him down off the wall, off the wings, I would say, as the mid lane gets shoved back in.
Yeah, Rossi very, very aggressive early on with this Hilda, taking a kill early solo against Vin, 2v1 too, and right now he's also, again, very, very aggressive. Ooh. But we're gonna jump to, in a second, there's gonna be talent prediction.
Yeah, we have to wait and see the talent prediction here because it's a very, very close matchup for sure. And for now, RRQ has potential. They have the crowd control and the early roam, but they have to try and play these fights a bit cleaner because the Hilda is such a big nuisance here, and they will secure the Lord, but Alter Ego goes for a fight right here. Rossi alone against 4 people.
Okay, Divine Judgment bringing Rossi back. Lemon picks up the kill. And it is going to be RRQ who finds the better trade again. Udil in the mid lane jumps back in with the oddity here onto 3 members, noticing it might just be a mistake. They back off, and now it's just a complete reset.
Yeah, but this is the specialty of Udil. Very, very aggressive, just looking for every kind of thing that he can squeeze on. A good ult by Rizal, just taking that gold buff. A pretty good mechanical maneuver from him.
Right, now I think the big issue here for Alter Ego in particular is they still want to go for the neutral objectives, but of course Albert on the Fredrin has that Demon Slayer, so he has a bit of an advantage there. So Kids is stuck trying to make the plays around the map, but against a Kaja, right, there's always the threat of the Vin Judgment just catching him out. But if RRQ are just a bit too aware, a bit too focused on Rossi, that could still be a lot of trade back with the Yutong going in with the Petrify as well as Udil on that Kadira. So the amount of pick-off on Alter Ego is huge, but if RRQ fight S5, it's going to be a different story altogether.
Yeah, definitely the hardest job here is for Rossi. He has to open the map with a lot of threat for him as well, even though he's Hilda, even though he's tanky. But the thing is, they has a Pharsa, they have a Albert, just one of the best utility jungler in the game with Fredrin, a lot of CC, a lot of things that can lock you on, so Hilda is still in trouble, and RRQ.
Look at the talent prediction right here. Bit of an opposite situation. More RRQ votes on the English desk, only 1 on the Indonesian desk. So we'll see who actually gets the right prediction. And if you want to get some food here, some snacks to watch this very intense match, you can take it from Grab, scan the QR code, or go to grb.to/MPL, because this game is only just beginning, 5 minutes in, and already so much action, and right on cue, that's Udil making the play happen.
Nice kill over. Again, this pick composition from Alter Ego will be able to catch, just anyone, about anyone. Even if the Masha steps out of place, they are probably going to be able to burst them down. But now, into the turtle, Alter Ego have used a lot of resources, but now it's still the Black Dragon form, zoning Albert away as Rossi is going to be able to put some damage down again. Kids now jumping in, but the damage coming through. Fraser's wrapped by Albert, still buying a whole lot of time, but will be slain in the end. That's the jungler taken down by Vin. Flickers forward, with the Divine Judgment, brings Pi back, and it's a kill over. Lemon as well is able to find the kill onto Udil, and RRQ claps back. You go for a pick comp onto one, we can team fight all day long.
Interesting approach from Alter Ego. They know that Udil doesn't really have the resource to burst people down, but they still go for the contest anyway. But it turns out that's a wrong decision for them. A lot of resources gone too, and they're losing the fight.
Yeah, there's just so much AoE coming in, particularly from RRQ, so if they engage on anyone but Clay or Skylar, they run the risk of just getting completely comboed here. And as we mentioned already, they don't really excel at the 5v5, so Alter Ego have to find a different way out here, looking for maybe a split push, looking for multiple ganks. They need to try and pull apart RRQ, because otherwise it's too difficult.
Let's see, Skylar again with the BMI gets out, has the Purify, it's all good here. That's the problem of the Purify claw that we saw even yesterday. No one was able to catch Skylar. Now with the Feather Airstrike as well, Ryzel was not able to actually take down the turret. So many resources placed down with Alter Ego's early game composition, and it seems like RRQ will be able to fend off the storm. Maybe even at this point, they've taken the early game control over, despite having weaker heroes. RRQ, Albert, whoa, just walking up under the base, under the turret here. Is going to be knocked up, petrified. Not too sure what that was from Albert, and RRQ walking up with just a very low cannon minion, but he's going to be punished for that, for sure.
Yeah, and right away, Skylar and Lemon already switching places. Normally, you'd think that Marksman is gonna stay in the lane when they still have the turret to take, but interesting approach from RRQ. They choose to go for Masha against the Moskov. Normally, you'd go... Skylar is still in the original lane, but Masha against Moskov is a pretty good matchup for RRQ.
Well, a Masha against a marksman, that's definitely something that Lemon can try and get something at. It's an interesting dynamic for sure. But having a Masha on the opposite side of the Lord is also a big part of how RRQ is going to try and play this macro game out. On that note though, Albert, before that play, he just finished the Antique Cuirass, so maybe the idea is that he doesn't think they would, Alter Ego would use all their magic damage onto him, and he would be a bit more tanky. But of course, under the turret, that's a bit too bold. But Clay now with the Lightning Truncheon will be able to do a lot of damage, unless Rossi says otherwise.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What was that interaction? Rossi now in the midst of it all, going to be able to back off with the Conceal as Udil jumps in with the Petrify, but it's going to be the Purify again! Baiting Udil out! Pi with the Black Dragon form, melted down by Skylar. He's forced to back away. What was that interaction? Vid flickered with the Divine Judgment. Was Kids able to steal Cable out of that one?
I don't know, maybe that's the new patch for, the new update for this patch, but one thing I want to mention, but this is 4K gold lead so far for RRQ, and right now they have a better late game composition because this Fanny will fall off really, really hard. And another problem they have to face is how they get Kids' buff, which is very, very important for Fanny. Probably a game changer.
Especially because RRQ is so ahead right now. Lemon 4-0, very subtle, but this man is doing wonders on this Masha. He has the Twilight Armor right now, so that's even more damage that Alter Ego needs to consider. And if you look at the items for Skylar, he has these steel leg plates just in case, just to stave off some of that physical burst, and he has the power spike already, the Golden Staff as well as the Demon Hunter Sword. But look at the Feather Airstrike just completely zoning Alter Ego away.
Yeah, definitely a loss for Alter Ego Esports. They gave up the Lord, but it's a good decision in the end, because like there's no way you're gonna get the Lord with that kind of cover from Clay from Farsa. With just the Feather Airstrike is just too much, Arashi.
It's the Feather Airstrike and the crowd control, because early in that fight, whoa, look at the damage though. What, the Thunderclap comes in, and Udil now gets chased down, and there won't be any kills on the map, but that's how fast it happens, man. I was just about to say that the issue for Alter Ego as well, they have a lot of assassins, a lot of dive potential, but they're up against so much crowd control. In the purple buff earlier, the reason why Udil got shut down there was because of the taunt coming in from Albert's Fredrin. So it's not only the Farsa, it's not just the Kaja.
Okay, again, this is Lord Siege coming down. Clay is just hovering over.
a win.
For their airstrike now, Ryzel does not have the Abyssal. Oh, he does! He gets out just in time, but it's still going to be the tier 2 target down as Skylar is going to be able to melt Rossi. So much damage from this Claude already in the 10th minute of the game. You can see why. Player gold by Ube as gold. Skylar is topping that chart for a reason. And even Lemon here, 1v1 against the jungler. Kids with no purple buff up against a very fed Masha. 4-0 and 2. Pi, this man was such an oppressive laner back in the day in Season 10, but now up against Lemon, we just haven't really seen that laning go anywhere.
This team is just isn't suited for those 5v5s because the big value of a Yutong pick is the ability to try and zone everyone with the Black Dragon form and go towards that back line. Right now, if he tries to do so, he gets bursted down, and even if he goes to the back line, there's only Clay who can just wings by wings and fly away to safety. He has the Hunter Strike and the Oracle, but at this point, with a 7k gold lead, RRQ just does way too much damage, and if he doesn't pop the Black Dragon form early on, he might get Divine Judgmented, and that'll be the end of the story. So he's in a very tough spot.
Okay, once again, how do they take this? That was Alter Ego with all their dive already.
Lemon
In the back line. Ryzel trying his best to sustain that kite away, but it's only 1 HP bar gone for Lemon. He distracts the entire team. It's a killing spree for Clay, and Alter Ego just have 0 answers to RRQs. Well, Alter Ego actually raised the question. They were the one who dove on RRQ, so RRQ just have a better answer here. Udil again dives in just to die. RRQ with their damage, with their frontliners, too tanky. Pi now still trying his best to act as the frontliner, but can you even be called a frontliner when you're melted down as fast as someone like a Fanny?
That is painful stuff, man. Udil tried to make that play, but it's just way too ambitious. Alter Ego right now might have to try and change up their approach, play it a bit more passive, because every time they're the aggressors, they use all their ultimates in the beginning to try and get something, a pick-off or a big combo. They get countered because RRQ at this point have the better late game, have more AoE. I think if they switch it up and use their spells defensively, particularly for Udil, there might be a chance that the Breath of the Ocean can catch multiple members, and that might just be what Alter Ego needs to try and get a comeback in this very tough situation.
Yeah, and an easy lord for RRQ, no retaliation at all. Ryzel just trying to make it up with a few wave push there, but as you said, Arashi, like, the later this game goes, like, all the problem that Alter Ego proposed, like, all of it can be solved with RRQ's composition. You have this the Moskov, which is pretty much a real trouble in late game, but you have this Finn, Kaja with a flicker of Divine Judgment, easy pick off. As long as you can play it properly, I think RRQ is gonna go all the way.
Even if Alter Ego tries to split push it out, right, using Yutong or using that Fanny, Lemon is just a menace 1v1 on this Masha. Being 4-0 right now, I think he can just duel anyone, and with the Lord coming in, RRQ will go for it.
There you go.
Then again, with the Flicker, not able to find anyone just yet, as Rossi is able to actually dive into the back line. Pi as well, but again, these frontliners are way too squishy. Pi gets a Petrified down, he's able to sustain a bit, but Skylar guns him down, takes him out of the play. Alter Ego have defended the Lord push, but RRQ are standing with still an 11,000 gold lead in the 13th minute of the game with one member down, which is the frontliner. Rossi's not really going to be able to take that much now. That's a Breath of the Ocean onto 2 members, but there's no more damage. Ryzel's going to be dove on. The Thunderclap as Lemon is just tanking the turret, walking him down, taking the kill back as Udil is able to find one onto Clay. That's the Breath of the Ocean connecting, but Kids gets gunned down by Skylar on the Claude once again. That's base turret number 2 falling in the top side. RRQ looking for the Siege to end this game as the Breath of the Ocean is able to connect onto the cannon, and Pi jumps in but will be pulled back. Udil gets gunned again by the Blazing Duet in the back. Game number 1 over to RRQ.
A clean game so far for RRQ Hoshi. Not much of a threat that Alter Ego can propose. Even in early game when you have Fanny that's supposed to be really good and having a lot of pressure onto the opponent's jungle area, but with this kind of composition, it's really hard to execute.
It's so tough against the burst damage, the mobility, and the crowd control coming in from RRQ. It seems like Alter Ego were trying to fight fire with fire and go toe-to-toe with RRQ in the aggression, but they don't have the tools to make that happen. And even when they tried to attempt ganks, it was all turned around by RRQ. And at one point, when you're so far behind, they had to go for you know, 50-50s, right? Gambles in the mid game, it just did not pay off. RRQ are just way too experienced in that situation, and they get that very dominant victory for game number 1. It's now back to the drawing board for Alter Ego.
Well,